Welcome to the Work Hard, Play Hard podcast. My name is Rob Murgatroyd, and I am a former doctor turned lifestyle entrepreneur. Each week, I interview some of the best minds on the planet on the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment. Today's episode is a mini-sode that we call Fri-Date with the Wife. In these mini-sodes, my wife Kim and I deconstruct the strategies that we've developed over the last decade to not only grow personally, but to turn our struggles into lessons and create fulfillment in all areas of our lives. Excuses are over. It's time to live. Let's dig into today's topic. All right, before we jump into this episode, I want to invite you to be considered for my Work Hard, Play Hard Mastermind by completing an application at workhardplayhardmastermind.com. So this mastermind is not like any mastermind you may have been to or heard of, I promise you. This mastermind is for 6 to 7 figure entrepreneurs that are working too damn much and aren't taking the time to have amazing experiences around the world with an incredible tribe of people. So every 100 days or so, I drop you into new experiences that are specifically designed to elevate your thinking, to give you new ideas. Look, you get your best ideas not staring at a computer. And actually, this is the way high-level people really collaborate with each other. They do it over a glass of champagne, watching the sunset in the south of France. So if you are ready to do some fun stuff around the world and really, really want to level up your tribe in one shot, fill out an application at workhardplayhardmastermind.com. We'll jump on a call and we'll see if it's a good fit. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Kimberly, you're always on that damn phone, Murgatroyd. You know, it's going to make your balls fall off.
Okay, says the guy that walks around with ear pods in him 24/7.
If I give you a criticism, which we have to tell that story in a minute. If I give you a criticism, you can't just bounce back the criticism because I was creative enough to come up with something.
You were creative enough to come up with the fact that I'm on my phone?
Yeah, I was creative enough to come up with the insult. You can't like come up with something and go like, oh, you
that's
too.
Better.
Yeah, because it's weak. It's weak. But listen, that's not why we're here. We're here first to tell the story of insecurities because I don't know that this ever translates well.
I don't think so. I think you had to be there.
But I do think it's worth a moment or two. We were in which country?
So I believe we were in Capri, and
you notice how she went with the Italian version? You know, because if you're American, you say
Capri.
But if you're Italian, you say
Capri.
And we're pretending that we're Italian right now. So we're just going to say in Capri.
If you see it as done, right? So we were in Capri, I believe, for our honeymoon, but I could be wrong because we've been there a few times. And we were sitting in this restaurant, and I believe it was like there was trees above us with maybe lemons in it, flowers, I don't even know. It was like this really cute, romantic restaurant, and we're in love, and we're having a great night. And then that couple got sat next to us.
The fighting couple on the vacation.
Yeah, and they just can't stop fighting. And the more wine that's poured, the louder they get. And then we heard a line that we have since used forever. And we actually couldn't stop laughing. And I think we even took a picture of them just so we could remember the moment.
God, I wish we could find that picture.
I bet we could. So do you want to deliver the line?
No, I'm going to have you do it.
Okay. So I believe the woman was saying something, fighting with the man about something he did or whatever. And he said something along the line of, I have insecurities.
And it was all due respect for the dude that's willing to just shout out in the middle of a restaurant that he's insecure. Okay, I'm going to give him that. But the emphasis on the T's,
it was
right?
The insecurities.
He was trying to punctuate it, and he was trying to make a point so that this woman got it. I have insecurities. And when you're sitting next to the fighting couple and you're in love, you have Teflon around you. You don't really care, and you're actually just going like, I'm glad I'm not them. But when that line was delivered, you can't help but spit out whatever vino you had in your mouth. And so that was 15 years ago?
At least, yeah.
And it's the gift that keeps on giving. But the reason why we are here today is not to tell you about Capri, not to tell you about that. But we are here to tell you something really, really important.
Oh, that I woke up and found one gray hair. Can you imagine, by the way? And I have to for a second. Can I vent?
Yeah, honey, you're venting to people that probably have gray hair already.
I don't care. Well, they might remember their first. I don't know. But I woke up this morning and the thing is like 5 inches long, which means...
That's what she said.
It's always been there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's been there. Yeah. And I didn't notice it until today.
Yeah.
I think I have 2. There's probably more. I just can't see them.
Listen, when I look at my head and I see one that isn't gray, I'm like, holy shit. I have 3 that are not.
I know. So I am turning into my dog.
All right, listen. The reason why we're here today, this is very important.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to talk about 2 things. Thing number 1 is we always try and keep it topical to what's going on in our life because we can add the most value there because it's top of mind. It's on our head, right? And we are about to head out to Greece to do our Work Hard, Play Hard experience. And I first want to talk about why I do these things. And then secondly, I want to talk about something that you guys may be interested in, but we can definitely use your help on this. So, in short, I don't need to tell you that, if you put a group of like-minded people together, you give them a little champagne and you put them in an amazing environment, magic happens. And when I tell you the magic, we came up with this idea to do this Work Hard, Play Hard thing. I guess, what is it, 3 years ago now? 4 years?
Well, okay. So can I give a little color to this?
Mm-hmm.
We have been traveling and going on these trips for 15 years. Okay. So we've been going to Mykonos for 15 years. We've been traveling around the world. We had another company called Jet Set Life. We shot travel videos. And we are the only people I know where someone else feels insanely comfortable to invite themselves on our vacation. We're the only ones I know that are like, people are like, someday I'm joining you on vacation. And is that normal thing? Like,
not only do they say someday I'm joining you on vacation,
and then they show up.
What they say is next year when you go to Greece, I'm going with you.
Right.
Well, I didn't invite you. I don't even know who you are.
Isn't it so funny?
And by the way, vacationing with people is radically different.
Oh my gosh. So we have
you want to end a marriage or end a friendship?
Yep.
If you don't know how well you travel with somebody, it is fucking Russian roulette.
It is.
I have had horrible experiences.
So we've been traveling forever with Darren and Tony, and we took our first trip together solo. I think it was Cabo, wasn't it?
Don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was the Pamia in Cabo. And it was like our test run. It was like international light. It was the test run. And we found out that we are a perfect complement in travel. And so we've been traveling with them forever. And then periodically someone would invite themselves on our vacation. And we were like, okay, yeah, we're good traveling with people. And then we would realize we don't actually like traveling with that many other people. There's not that many people that have a similar easygoingness or, there's gotta be the right combination of people to be able to, of personalities and temperaments to be able to spend days together and to also be able to say, you know what, we want to do something on our own today and not feel offended. Like it takes a certain combination of personalities. So we've had people invite themselves on our vacation, for years. And then one year we had Darren and Tony coming, and then we had other friends slowly invite themselves, and then they invited their friends, and then they invited their friends, and then it became a group of 15 people. And Rob was like, okay, hold on a second. This is the craziest thing. We have like 15 people coming with us to Greece. He's organizing the whole thing. And hence the idea of doing these as experiences was born. And so Rob, being the entrepreneur that he is, called the videographer and said, I'm videoing this. Everybody's just showing up and I'm going to stick a camera in your face. Thank God they were all down with it. And I'm going to lay out this whole trip. It's going to be amazing. And you're going to be my promo for the Work Hard, Play Hard experience. And so this was one of those things that was birthed organically.
Yeah. So
it wasn't like an idea you created. It birthed itself.
Yeah. So there's two sorts of trips, right? There's the one trip where, I'm not necessarily planning anything. I'm a planner, so I always plan something, but I'm not, crafting an experience every 3 hours and, sort of like.
I would argue that.
All right. There's that trip. And then there's the other one, which is more formalized. So the reason why we're bringing this up is whether you decide, we're announcing, probably at the time that this will air, we're going to be announcing the next location. I always give it to the group, just a little bit of quick housekeeping. I take 20 people a year. This year, I oversold it because of COVID and some extenuating circumstances.
Because of COVID, most things are bizarre. Usually less, but he oversold the trip.
I oversold it because of COVID, because people, backed up a year and people were like, I need to go. So I created more room. But I'm going to offer it to the 25 people that are there. And like everything, what happens is, whatever weekend I pick, somebody be like, my cousin Vinny's getting married that weekend. I can't do it.
Cousin Vinny.
So there's going to be open spots. I'm sure of it. I'm not sure, but it's likely. If at the time you hear this, the location will be announced. I'm not going to tell you where it is yet, but the location should be announced. So if you're potentially interested in doing it, just go to workhardplayhardpodcast.com.
Or just follow him on social media.
Or follow me on social. So you'll see it there. But what I wanted to say is what has come out of these events has been pretty magical, and it's done in the weirdest sort of ways. Like, I'll give you one example. My friend Lori Harder, she was busy. She had a lot of things to do on one of the trips we were going to. And she's like, I just don't know if I have time to go. And I'm thinking about it. All right, I'm going to do it. And then she asked for an intention. She's like, I'm coming up with this idea. I need an idea. Should I do this alcohol brand? Should I not do this alcohol brand?
She came with the intention.
She came with an intention.
Yeah.
And then one night we're sitting.
An intention for clarity.
Yeah. And then one night we're sitting at a restaurant, and the guy who owns the restaurant said, as a matter of fact, right in the chair that you're sitting, and he points to Lori, Randy Gerber and George Clooney came up with the idea for Casa Amigos, which, by the way, just sold for bazillions of dollars. And it was her sign. So that's like an extreme, one-off, oh, well, that's crazy kind of thing. But I've got
it gets even crazier with that, because she also was in restaurants with people that she recognized, I won't say who they are, that ended up being investors in her company. Mm-hmm. And so the point of why Rob's telling this is because some people come on these trips to meet other people. Some people come because they understand that getting out of their day-to-day life and into a different environment can create inspiration or even clarity. Some people come, like Lori came in with an intention of clarity and getting, maybe receiving a sign, and other people just come because they need to check out of what they're doing. They grind and grind and grind, and they show up. And what's amazing about what Rob puts together is it's not formal in the way that you're sitting down and constantly doing new exercises to move your business. He curates a group of people that he knows will naturally complement and collaborate with each other. Right.
So there's not going to be, I save the more formal business exercises for people that do it, frankly, better than me, whether you're in, YPO or you're in Chris Harder's mastermind or you're in, everybody's got a mastermind now. There's a lot of people that do that better, and they're quite intentional about it. They put you into a hotel room, and you're sitting in a seat, and you're going through a series of exercises and listening to speakers. I personally don't learn best that way. I couldn't tell you what a speaker said to me 3 minutes after I walked out the door, and I couldn't tell you what exercise I did while I was in the room. Very few of them I remember. For me, I could tell you who I met in a particular location that opened my mind up to a new idea. I could tell you about the dinner I had in Saint-Tropez where my friend Darren said to me, people are always talking about what they're working out. And I'm like, what would you say? So I remember experiences. I remember dinners. I remember moments. I remember conversations. And I like the natural progression of how things go. And the biggest thing for me is sometimes you don't know exactly what you need, but you start having a conversation around it. So, I've got this business and my business is going okay, but it's not going great and I'm sort of stuck at it. But somebody's listening at the table, and then later that night or the next day, one of the people will say to the other one, hey, I listened to you last night and if I'm talking out of turn here, tell me. But it sounds like you're not really interested in that business. It sounds like that doesn't really excite you. Did I get that right? And then the other person will go, well, yeah, I guess I didn't want to admit that. And then everybody goes to sleep, and the next day, that conversation continues. And by the end of the third day, that conversation now leads to A, I'm abandoning the business. B, I'm restructuring it so that it serves my needs better and I'm more inspired by it. Or C, right? Whatever that is. So I'm giving you, a couple of examples of things that are magical, but you can't plan, that are natural collisions that you can't make a formal introduction for, that are divinely inspired because two people that did not know each other, one from Kentucky and the other one from, New Zealand, meet together and they were like, oh my God, we were destined to meet each other on this. There are intangibles that you can't put together. And so I believe that when I'm structuring these things, as long as I pick the right people, say yes to people who want to do it, and put them together in an environment that inspires them, magic happens. Okay. So if you're interested in our next one, now's a good time to do it because it's going to fill up. The second part of this that I wanted to talk about is we are, as you know, regular listeners of this show, we are moving to Florence, Italy. And Florence, most people get confused, is actually Tuscany. So it's a city within the region of Tuscany. And somebody sent an email the other day, and thank you, Robert, for sending this email because it really pointed something out. And that is that we have on the lower offering or the free offering, we have this podcast that we do. And on the higher offering, we have the mastermind that I just described. But there isn't anything for people that are sort of in the middle. People that are like, well, I don't really have the cash to, pay for a mastermind like that. And I do listen to your podcast regularly. I mean, I've got a little bit of money I can invest in myself, and but really what I need is not those conversations that you talked about. I really need you and Kim. Like, I really need you guys to kind of help me brainstorm what's next for me, help me figure out what I can do with my current business, et cetera. So we're toying, and there's no agenda here. Like, we don't have this planned.
We have nothing planned.
Yeah, like I know people are like, you see them like, 6 days before a launch. We're thinking about doing, and then by the time the seventh day happens, they have this perfectly articulated launch. That's not the case here.
That is definitely not the case here.
So what Robert had proposed to us is doing something that offers Kim and I more specifically. And coaching privately with me is expensive. I get that. And it's not really experiential because it's only an hour every other week. So we thought, well, what if we combined group, in-person, and compression? And then we also did a sprinkling of doing it experientially. And that would be in Tuscany. So the thought there is, what if we were to do a event where it was 3 or 4 days, maybe 3, that was in Tuscany, and we worked with couples, individuals, but over 3 days in a much more structured environment, but more like a hot seat thing. So, the person would get up and they would talk about, this is who I am, this is where I'm from, these are the challenges I have. And we would play stupid idea time together. So it wouldn't be just Kim and I, it would be all of us helping one particular person or couple and then going on to the next. And it would be much more formalized, be much more structured. And of course, I couldn't do it without having experiences. So there would be, olive oil tasting, wine tasting, great restaurants, hidden spots. But that wouldn't be the highlight. That would be like, the side plate, But go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, so I just want to talk more about how we got to this decision, because I think a lot of people that listen are probably in the space of trying to do things online themselves or figuring out, do they want a podcast? Do they want a course? Do they want a mastermind or anything like that? And I think where we are going with this and how this unfolded is kind of an important part to share. Rob and I, we created the Dream Life course, which is a great course, and I should say, we also had a virtual mastermind that we did for, I don't know, did we do 2 or 3 sessions of that? I think we did 3. So, and we did 3 sessions of that, and it was every single week.
And people are still friends.
And people are still friends, but it was super successful. We sold it out each time. But what it required of us was our time every single Saturday for, let's call it 2 hours every Saturday of our time for the better part of a year. Mm-hmm. When we got this email from Robert that was like, you don't have a middle offering, like that kind of was our middle offering. That was our one-on-one, our time that we were giving. And my Rob said, why don't we go back to doing that? And I told him, I said, I don't think I want to, because I don't want to commit myself to some sort of, even though it sounds like it's 1 or 2 hours a week. Come on. But it's something that I didn't want to.
You're locked into it.
I'm locked into it. And it typically has to be on a weekend because all of that. Plus we have time change issues if we're going to Italy. It just didn't feel for me like it would be something that I would find joy in and want to do. And moving to Italy, I want to do more things that I love and I'm passionate about. So I don't feel like I can give all of me once a week in a committed time, like on a Saturday when I know I have other things I want to do. And even though I know it would be super successful and we would sell it out and we would make money and it would be all those things. So we decided that wasn't for us. But what could be for us, if we decide to do this, if there's enough interest, is hosting maybe a couple of times a year, an event like Rob is saying. And the way I see this, it's kind of like taking our Dream Life course, right? Figuring out what you want, playing stupid idea time, mitigating the downsides, coming up with creative solutions, figuring out how to work together with your spouse if that applies, taking that course and literally condensing it into the weekend with us in Tuscany. That's how I look at that. I look at walking people through those processes or processes, if you prefer.
Not to be confused with
processes.
Insecurities.
So walking people through those levels or those modules of our course, but in person, in conversation, over wine, the best wine and cheese and olive oil and things in the world. That's how I see this going down.
That's great.
So like with the picture you just showed me, imagine a table in Tuscany in in an olive grove, a beautifully decorated table where we're having a 3-hour working lunch, brainstorming what you want to do, how you want to do it, mitigating, and all of those things. Like that's how I see this going down. And you bringing your creativity in creating magic moments, your gift for choosing and curating the correct people.
So it's your strategy, brain, my curation and experiences, and the magic of Italy all together into one.
And so that's kind of what I'm thinking. And we happen to have a friend that we met through our attorney when we were in Italy last time that owns a magical B&B, a bed and breakfast in Tuscany. And I sort of think it's going to be the perfect place for us to do this. Like they can land hot air balloons in their yard. Like there's all kinds of cool stuff that can go down. So as I'm talking this through, and by the way, we literally like brainstormed this idea 3 days ago. So it's super, we had one conversation and
we didn't brainstorm it. We just brought it.
This is the second conversation.
It was an idea.
Yeah. And this is the second conversation. So we're kind of
working it out with you
live.
The idea for me is to be able to take somebody over 3-4 days. Now, I get it. You're probably not going to fly to Italy for 3 to 4 days. So it would be something where, we would help you. You'd do a couple of days, I don't know, in Rome or Venice or one of the other countries around, and then do, a few days after if you want, and make a week out of it with your spouse. So we would be, and it doesn't have to be spouse. You could do it individually if you want. And we would be working with you together. So
I got it. Text the word weekend. How about that? Text the word weekend to 310-388-9724. So real quick, just to tie all of this up in a bow, because I feel like we're kind of floundering around like a fish out of water on a deck somewhere with this podcast today a little bit.
No, it's real.
It is real, but we're about to host this event in Mykonos, and I wish we could tell you right now the things we have planned for this crew, but I'm not. It is magical. It is funny. It is entertaining. It is inspiring. They are going to walk out of there changed. I know they are. And not because we are going to sit down and do 8,000 exercises that change them, because the island that we're bringing them to and what we're doing with them and how Rob has curated this is going to be life-altering. And I know that. And so anyone that gets to experience your full work hard, play hard experiences, it is truly a gift of a lifetime that you can give yourself. And then as far as this new idea that we're kind of brewing, that is, you don't hold us to anything, because God knows if this is going to work. God knows if we're going to do this. But when I think about bringing together like 10 couples and going all in with them for like 72 hours and you bringing your magic, I get excited. So the fact that I'm getting excited about this means to me that this is something I want to move forward with. It doesn't feel like it's going to suck the energy out of me. It feels like it's going to give me energy.
Well, because it's enthusiasm. And did you know that the Greek word entheos comes from the god? That's we're getting.
Are you getting ready for Greece? Well, he made that shit up, by the way.
I don't think I did. You can Google enthusiasm. I think it comes from a Greek somewhere.
God.
Do you remember the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Of course.
So do you remember the part in the movie where he said, "Try it. You give me anything, and I tell you the root word." And he'd be like, "Okay, water bottle." Yes, the water comes from the Greek watarmimu, which means underground river. And see, I did it. Give me something else.
Yes, that's basically what we're about to walk into.
Okay, so thank you for listening to this disorganized shit show of a podcast today. But we had two things on our mind. One was the mastermind. Wanted to tell you about the next one that's being offered and see if you were interested. And the second one was to talk about our new idea in Tuscany. And I'll tell you something else. I am a connector by nature. And when I live in Italy, I promise you, I will make some connections to have some surprises at that event that you will be glad you came there for.
And so now it's happening.
Yeah.
Don't you love how at the beginning of this,
this is how things happening.
We were like, it's an idea, it's a seed, and you're like, I'm going to have something incredible there.
Actually, we're selling tickets on Ticketmaster right now if you want to go.
Website's going up tomorrow.
Yeah, Ticketmaster.com/Rob Kim weekends.
If you're interested in the potentiality, is that a word, of us doing a smaller, more custom event like we described, text weekend to 310-388-9724.
All right. Have a great week, everybody. Bye. All right. Thanks for listening. If you love this episode and you know someone that needs some help in either stepping up their work hard game or their Play Hard game, it would mean the world to me if you shared this podcast with them to help me get this movement out there. So if you like what you heard, head on over to iTunes, take 30 seconds, and leave me a 5-star review, and I will be forever grateful. So until the next episode, excuses are over. It's time to live.